I am Sally Rogers, 32 years old, and I thought I knew what family meant until last Christmas. My dad and I were always close bonded by our love for cars and trucks. I became a successful software engineer, making enough to live comfortably. My relationship with my sister Amanda was always complicated, but nothing prepared me for what happened that December. When my mom called saying they needed a break from Christmas, I understood, until the photos appeared on my feed. Before I dive into how I discovered my family betrayal, let me know where you are watching from, and hit that like and subscribe button if family has ever broken your heart. Growing up in our suburban Minneapolis home, Christmas was always magical. Dad would spend weeks planning our decorations, dragging boxes from the attic the day after Thanksgiving. Mom would bake her famous gingerbread cookies, while Amanda and I fought over who got to lick the spoon. Those were simpler times. My father, Thomas Rogers, worked as a mechanic at the local Ford dealership. He had rough, calloused hands that smelled of motor oil, but they were gentle when he taught me how to change a tire at age 12. Every woman should know how to fix her own car, he would say, much to my mother's displeasure. Dad and I could talk for hours about engines and horsepower, while Mom and Amanda discussed fashion and celebrities. Sally has her head in the clouds, my mother Caroline would say whenever I talked about wanting to work with computers. No man wants a woman who knows more than him. It was the 90s, but my mother still lived in the 50s. Amanda was everything I was not. 2 years younger, she was the homecoming queen, the cheerleader, the social butterfly. I was the awkward girl with glasses who built computers in her bedroom and got straight A's. My sister knew how to make our mother smile. I only seemed to know how to disappoint her. "Why can you not be more like your sister?" became the soundtrack of my teenage years. Yet Dad always defended me. "Leave her be, Caroline. Sally is going places with that brain of hers." And I did go places. I worked 3 jobs to put myself through college, graduating with honors in computer science from the University of Minnesota. My first job at a tech startup paid enough that I could help my parents with their mortgage. My second job allowed me to move to Chicago, 3 hours away from my family home, far enough to breathe, close enough to visit. For years, I maintained a monthly routine of driving back to Minneapolis. I would arrive Friday evening, spend Saturday helping Dad with whatever project he was working on, endure Sunday lunch with Mom and usually Amanda, then drive back to Chicago Sunday night. It was exhausting but necessary. Family is family after all. Last year, everything changed. I received a promotion to senior software architect at my company. The salary increase was substantial, but so was the workload. My monthly visits became bi-monthly, then quarterly. Each time I called to cancel a visit, my mother would sigh dramatically. "We understand, Sally. Your career comes first. Family will always be here." The guilt was thick in her voice, but I pushed through it. This was my chance to prove myself, to show that my head in the clouds had landed me somewhere worthwhile. Amanda, meanwhile, had moved back home after her 3rd failed relationship. At 30, she was working part-time at a local boutique and dating a new guy named Kyle. From what I gathered during our brief phone conversations, Kyle was a charming salesman with big dreams and little follow-through. Dad mentioned that Kyle was always talking about the family he wanted to have someday, which pleased my mother to no end. "Your sister is settling down with a nice man who values family," Mom mentioned during our last call in November. The implication that I did not value family hung heavy in the air. Despite the tension, I was looking forward to Christmas. I had purchased my gifts months in advance. For Dad, I had found a rare model car he had been searching for years. For Mom, a cashmere sweater in her favorite shade of blue. For Amanda, concert tickets to her favorite band. I even bought a gift card for Kyle, though we had only met twice. My plan was to arrive on December 23rd and stay until December 26th. I had cleared my schedule, completed all my pending projects, and even declined the company holiday party. This Christmas was going to be about reconnecting with my family, showing them that despite my busy career, they were still my priority. Little did I know I was the only one with that plan. 2 weeks before Christmas, on a snowy Tuesday evening, my phone rang. Seeing my mother's name on the screen, I smiled. Perhaps she was calling to ask what I wanted for Christmas dinner. "Hi, Mom," I answered cheerfully, settling onto my couch. I was just about to call you to confirm my arrival time for Christmas. There was a pause, then a throat clearing. About that, Sally. Your father and I have been talking and we think we need to take a break from Christmas this year. I sat up straighter. A break. What do you mean? Well, your father has been having those back problems again, you know. The doctor says he needs to rest, and I am simply exhausted from taking care of him and helping Amanda with her job search. The thought of decorating the house and cooking a big meal just seems overwhelming. I processed this information. It was unusual, but not entirely implausible. Dad had suffered from chronic back pain for years, though he rarely let it stop him from doing anything. I understand, Mom. That makes sense. But what if I handle everything? I could come a few days early, do all the decorating and cooking. You and Dad would not need to lift a finger. Another pause. That is very thoughtful, but no. Your father is quite adamant about keeping things quiet this year. No fuss, no visitors. No visitors. The words stung more than they should have. Well, what about having Christmas at my place then? I have plenty of room in my apartment. You, Dad, Amanda, and Kyle could drive down to Chicago. I would take care of everything. Oh, Sally, be realistic, my mother sighed. Your father cannot sit in a car for 3 hours with his back, and you know Amanda gets carsick on long drives. Besides, Kyle is allergic to cats, and you have that cat of yours. I glanced at Luna, my gray tabby, who was currently sleeping on the windowsill. She had never been a problem during the 2 times Kyle had visited. I could come alone, then I suggested, a hint of desperation creeping into my voice. Just me, no decorations, no fuss. We could have a simple dinner and exchange small gifts. Sally, my mother's voice took on the tone she used when I was being difficult as a teenager. We need a break this year. From everything Christmas related, including visitors. I am sure you understand. You are always so busy anyway. I thought you would appreciate having the time to yourself. He swallowed hard. Of course, I understand. Wonderful. I knew you would. You have always been so independent. The relief in her voice was palpable. Now, tell me about that promotion of yours. Amanda mentioned you got a fancy new title. The rest of the conversation passed in a blur. I answered her questions automatically while my mind struggled to process what had just happened. No Christmas, no family, no explanation that fully made sense. After hanging up, I sat in silence for a long time. Luna eventually jumped onto my lap, purring loudly, as if sensing my distress. Looks like it is just you and me for Christmas, girl, I whispered, scratching behind her ears. That night, I lay awake replaying the conversation. Perhaps I had been neglecting my family too much. Perhaps this was their way of showing me that life went on without me. The thought hurt, but I had to accept it. I would respect their wishes. The next day, I called a local homeless shelter and signed up to volunteer on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. If I could not spend the holiday with my family, I would at least make myself useful to others who had no family at all. I still shopped for gifts, though, more modest ones than I had originally planned. I would mail them before Christmas with a cheerful note expressing my understanding and love. No guilt trips, no manipulation. I would be the bigger person. As the days passed, a small voice in the back of my mind kept questioning my mother's explanation. Something did not add up, but I pushed the doubts away. They were my family. They would not lie to me about something like this. How wrong I was. Christmas Eve arrived with a heavy snowfall that blanketed Chicago in white. I spent the morning at the homeless shelter serving breakfast and helping sort donated gifts for the residents. The work was fulfilling, and the gratitude in the eyes of those I helped temporarily filled the hollow feeling in my chest. By evening, I was exhausted, but at peace with how I had spent the day. I returned to my apartment, kicked off my snow boots, and heated up some leftover Chinese food. Luna curled up beside me as I scrolled through social media, half-heartedly liking posts from colleagues enjoying their holiday parties. That is when I saw it. A post from my cousin Jessica uploaded just an hour ago. The caption read, "Nothing better than Roger's family Christmas Eve. So blessed to be part of this wonderful tradition." My heart stopped. Below the caption was a photo of my parents' living room fully decorated with the same ornaments we had used since I was a child. The tree stood in its usual corner lights, twinkling surrounded by wrapped presents. But what made my blood run cold was not the decorations. It was the people. There, sitting on our family couch, was my father looking completely healthy and relaxed with no sign of the debilitating back pain my mother had described. Beside him sat my mother wearing a festive red sweater and a wide smile. Amanda was perched on the armrest, laughing at something. Beside her stood Kyle, his arm around her waist. And then there were two young girls, perhaps 8 and 10 years old, sitting on the floor near the tree tearing into Christmas cookies. Children I had never seen before. With shaking hands, I zoomed in on the photo. Jessica had tagged everyone. The girls were identified as Lily and Emma, Kyle's daughters. Kyle had daughters. Since when he had never mentioned children in the few times we had met. Amanda had never mentioned becoming a stepmom. I clicked through to the next photo. A dinner table laden with my mother's traditional Christmas Eve feast. Turkey stuffing, cranberry sauce, green bean casserole, sweet potato pie. All the dishes she claimed she was too exhausted to prepare. Another photo showed everyone opening Christmas Eve pajamas, another family tradition. The girls were holding up matching nightgowns, beaming with excitement. My father was displaying a pair of flannel pants with tools printed on them, exactly the kind of thing I would have bought him. I scrolled through the comments, my vision blurring with tears. Such a beautiful family gathering. Those girls are adorable. Kyle must be so proud, Caroline. Your decorations are stunning as always. Then I saw a comment from my Aunt Linda missing Sally this year. Hope she is enjoying her busy city life. Jessica's reply made my stomach lurch. Mom, you know Sally chose not to come this year. Too busy with her important job to bother with family Christmas. I chose not to come. I chose not to come. My phone pinged with a text message. It was Jessica, clearly panicking. OMG Sally, I am so sorry I forgot you can see my posts. Please do not be mad. Your mom told us you could not make it this year. I did not respond. I could not respond. My fingers were numb, my mind spinning. With a determination born of shock, I clicked through every photo, scrutinizing each one. In the background of one image, I spotted a pile of gifts. Squinting, I could make out name tags. To Dad from Amanda. To Caroline from Kyle. To Lily from Grandma and Grandpa. There was not a single gift with my name on it, either as recipient or giver. It was as if I did not exist in their world. I sat there, Luna purring obliviously in my lap as the full weight of the betrayal crashed over me. They had not canceled Christmas. They had only canceled me. But why, and who were these children suddenly being presented as Kyle's daughters? I dialed Jessica's number, my hands still shaking. Sally, I am so sorry, she answered immediately, her voice hushed as if she had stepped away from the gathering. I did not think you would see those photos so quickly. Who are those girls, Jessica? Since when does Kyle have daughters? A pause. Well, they are not exactly his daughters. They are his boss's kids. He is babysitting them or something. Babysitting them on Christmas Eve, at my parents' house. While they all pretend to be one big happy family. Jessica sighed. Kyle told everyone they are his daughters from a previous relationship. I only know the truth because I overheard him on the phone arranging to have them back to their actual parents by midnight. It is weird, I know, but Amanda is going along with it. Your mom too. The room seemed to tilt around me. Why would he pretend to have children? I think Jessica hesitated. I think he is trying to impress your parents. You know how much Aunt Caroline talks about wanting grandchildren. Kyle figured this would fast-track him into their good graces. I felt sick. And my parents are okay with this charade. Your mom seems thrilled, honestly. She has been introducing them as her granddaughters all evening. Granddaughters. My mother, who had often hinted that my career focus meant she would never have grandchildren, was now playing grandmother to children rented for the occasion. Why did everyone lie about canceling Christmas, Jessica? Why tell me they needed a break when clearly that was not true? Another long pause. I think that was Amanda's idea. She told everyone you said you were too busy this year. That you had some big work thing and could not be bothered to come home. That is a lie. I had everything arranged. Time off gifts bought everything. I am sorry, Sally. I really am. I had no idea. Your mom made it sound like you were the one who canceled." I ended the call without saying goodbye. Pulling my laptop toward me, I logged into Facebook and found more photos posted by other relatives. In one, Amanda was showing off a bracelet, gleefully telling someone it was from Kyle and the girls. In another, my father was helping one of the fake daughters build some kind of toy. They all looked so happy. Without me. Luna jumped off my lap as I stood abruptly. I ran to the bathroom just in time to be violently sick, my body rejecting the physical pain of this betrayal. As I slumped against the cold tile wall, tears streaming down my face, one thought crystallized through the chaos of emotion. My family had not just excluded me from Christmas. They had erased me. After washing my face with cold water, I returned to my living room with a new sense of purpose. The initial shock had given way to a cold, analytical anger. I needed to understand exactly what had happened and why. I called Jessica back. "I need you to be completely honest with me," I said when she answered. "How long has this been planned?" Jessica sighed deeply. "The Christmas gathering has been on the calendar since Thanksgiving. Amanda started talking about Kyle bringing his daughters about 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, before my mother called to cancel Christmas with me. Has Amanda said anything else about why I was not invited? She keeps telling everyone that you think you are too good for the family now, that your fancy job and city apartment make you look down on everyone here." Jessica paused. "I never believed that for what it is worth. You have always been so generous with everyone. I thought about all the gifts I had sent over the years, the mortgage payments I had helped with, the car repairs I had paid for, all while Amanda lived at home, contributing minimally. What about my dad? What has he said about my absence?" Uncle Thomas seems confused, honestly. "Earlier he mentioned that he thought you were coming tomorrow for Christmas Day. Amanda quickly jumped in and said you had texted her this morning to cancel at the last minute. She showed him something on her phone and he looked really disappointed." My blood boiled. Amanda was actively lying about me in real time, creating a narrative of a selfish, uncaring daughter. And my mom. She is just going along with all this. Aunt Caroline seems to be backing Amanda up. She told Grandma that you have changed since your promotion, that you think family obligations are beneath you now. I felt like I had been punched in the stomach. My own mother, who knew exactly why I was not there because she had been the one to uninvite me, was participating in painting me as the villain. "There is more," Jessica added hesitantly. "Tell me. Those girls, the ones Kyle is pretending are his daughters? He is paying them. I overheard him promising them $50 each to pretend he is their dad for the night." The exploitation of children for this charade made everything even more disturbing. And no one finds this strange, that Kyle suddenly has daughters no one has heard about until now. Amanda told everyone that Kyle has been keeping them a secret because their mother is difficult. She said he recently got custody and wanted to surprise everyone with the girls he has told them so much about. An elaborate web of lies, all designed to create a perfect family image from which I was deliberately excluded. One more thing, Jessica said quietly. "Kyle keeps mentioning how he is going to propose to Amanda soon, and how they will be looking for a bigger house for their instant family. Your parents seem thrilled about it." After ending the call, I sat in stunned silence. The fake daughters, the fake proposal plans, the fake family unit, all of it built on deception with my parents as willing participants. I checked my phone and found a text from my mother. "Merry Christmas Eve, Sally. Hope you are enjoying your quiet time. We are just having a small dinner with Amanda and Kyle tonight. Nothing special." Attached was a photo of her and my father, carefully framed to show none of the decorations or other people in the house. A deliberate lie sent to maintain the fiction that Christmas had been canceled. My father had not sent any messages. Had he been told I was too busy to talk to him? Or was he part of this elaborate deception? I found myself spiraling between fury and heartbreak. The sister who had always competed with me had finally found a way to win completely. The mother who had always favored her was fully complicit. And my father, the one person I thought would always be in my corner, had either been deceived or chosen to go along with it all. More photos appeared on social media as the evening progressed. Kyle acting the proud father. Amanda playing the doting mother to children who were not hers. My parents beaming as if their family was perfect and complete. In one photo, I noticed a pile of presents I had not seen before. Zooming in, I could make out gift tags in my mother's handwriting. Presents for everyone in attendance, including the borrowed children. Not a single package from me or for me. They had not even placed my mailed gifts under the tree. Checking my package tracking, I confirmed my gifts had been delivered 3 days ago. They had received them but chosen to hide them away, erasing even my presence by proxy. The depth of the rejection was staggering. This was not a simple case of miscommunication or unfortunate timing. This was a deliberate, coordinated effort to exclude me from the family narrative. As midnight approached, I watched through Jessica's sporadic updates as the fake daughters were picked up by their real father, whisked away with their $50 and Christmas cookies, their role in the charade complete. Christmas was ruined for me not just this year but perhaps forever. The magic of the holiday had been shattered by the knowledge that my family could so easily pretend I did not exist. But as I sat there surrounded by the remnants of my solitary Christmas Eve meal, something shifted inside me. A lifetime of seeking approval, of trying to be good enough for my mother, of competing with Amanda, of proving my worth through achievements and financial support, suddenly seemed pointless. They had shown me exactly who they were and how little I meant to them. Now it was time to show them exactly who I was. And I knew just how to do it. I did not sleep that night. How could I? Every time I closed my eyes, I saw those photos. My family happy and complete without me. The borrowed children being paraded as evidence of Kyle's family values. My sister triumphant in her deception. My mother willingly participating in the lie. And my father either deceived or complicit. By 5 a.m, I had cycled through every emotion imaginable. Shock had given way to disbelief, then to rage, then to a deep, aching sadness that settled in my chest like a physical weight. Luna curled against me, offering silent comfort as I stared at the ceiling. What would I do now? Confront them? Send an angry text exposing their lies? Cut them off completely? None of those options felt right. Anger would only feed into their narrative of me as difficult and self-important. Cutting them off would punish my father, who might be an innocent victim in all this. And a confrontation would turn into a messy, emotional battle that no one would win. I needed a response that would be unmistakable in its message, but impossible to twist into something negative. I needed to show them who I really was, not who they had decided I was. As dawn broke over Chicago, an idea began to take shape in my mind. An expensive, possibly foolish idea, but one that felt absolutely right. My father had always dreamed of owning a Ford F-150 Platinum. For 30 years, he had talked about it, cut out magazine advertisements, visited dealerships just to sit in the driver's seat. But he had always put that dream aside to support his family, to put Amanda and me through school, to help my mother when her catering business failed to repair the house when the roof leaked. Someday, he would say, patting the hood of whatever reliable but unglamorous vehicle he was driving at the time. Someday, when all the important stuff is taken care of. The important stuff was never fully taken care of. There was always another need, another expense, another reason to defer his dream. I opened my laptop and began searching dealership inventories. My promotion had come with a substantial signing bonus that I had been saving for a down payment on a condo. But this felt more important now. By 7 a.m, I had located a dealership in Milwaukee with exactly the truck my father had always wanted. Silver, exterior, black leather interior, all the features he had circled in brochures over the years. The price tag was $26,700, almost the entirety of my savings. I picked up my phone, hesitated only briefly, then made the call. Midwest Ford, how can I help you? A cheerful voice answered. I want to buy a truck today, as a gift, and I need it delivered. By 9, I had arranged financing, insurance, and delivery. The dealership was initially reluctant to process such a large purchase over the phone, but my credit score and bank balance spoke for themselves. The truck would be delivered to my apartment building by noon. As I waited, I cleaned my apartment manically, as if scrubbing countertops could somehow cleanse the pain from my heart. Luna watched from her perch on the bookshelf, her yellow eyes tracking my movements. "Am I being ridiculous?" I asked her at one point. "Spending my savings on a revenge gift?" Luna blinked slowly, offering no judgment. When my buzzer rang at 12:15, I was almost surprised. Part of me had expected the dealership to call with complications for my credit card to be declined for something to stop me from this grand gesture. But there it was, a brand new Ford F-150 Platinum gleaming in the winter sunlight outside my building. The delivery driver, a young man named Marcus, seemed bemused by the whole situation. "So this is a Christmas gift for your dad in Minneapolis. And you are not going to drive it there yourself," he confirmed as I signed the final paperwork. "That is correct," I said, taking the keys he offered. "I have other plans for this truck." After Marcus left, I stood in the parking lot staring at the vehicle. It was beautiful, exactly what my father had always wanted. For a moment, I second-guessed myself. Was I really going to do this? Spend my savings on a statement that might not even make the impact I hoped for? But then I remembered Jessica's words. "Amanda told everyone you said you were too busy this year, that you had some big work thing and could not be bothered to come home." My resolve hardened. I was tired of being misrepresented, of having my character assassinated, of being painted as cold and uncaring when I had always given everything I could to my family. I pulled out my phone and began recording. "Hi, Dad," I said, panning the camera around the truck's exterior. "Merry Christmas. I wanted to show you what I got for you this year." I walked slowly around the vehicle, highlighting each feature I knew he would love. The chrome accents, the premium sound system, the heated seats and steering wheel for those cold Minnesota winters. "I know you have wanted this truck for as long as I can remember." I continued, opening the door to show the immaculate interior. "And I know you never bought it for yourself because you always put everyone else first. That is who you are, Dad. Someone who gives without expecting anything in return." I climbed into the driver's seat, running my hand over the leather steering wheel. "I learned that from you. How to be generous, how to love people even when it is hard, how to show up for family no matter what." My voice cracked slightly, but I pressed on. "I was really looking forward to spending Christmas with you this year. I had time off work. I had gifts bought and wrapped. I was ready to drive up and surprise you with this truck in person." I swallowed hard. "I do not know exactly what happened, Dad. I do not know why I was told Christmas was canceled when it clearly was not. I do not know why Amanda is telling everyone I chose not to come. But I want you to know that is not true. I would never choose work over family. Never." Tears welled in my eyes, but I blinked them back. "This truck is yours. It is paid for. It is insured in your name. All you need to do is come get it, or I can drive it up to you, whatever you want." I paused, gathering myself. "I love you, Dad. Merry Christmas." I ended the recording and sat in the truck for several long minutes, questioning whether I should send it. It was vulnerable, raw, emotional. Everything my family often accused me of not being. But it was honest, and right now, honesty felt like the only path forward. I texted the video to my father at 1:17 in the afternoon on Christmas Day, then turned off my phone. I could not bear to watch for a response, to wait anxiously for a reaction that might never come. Instead, I returned to my apartment, put on my coat, and headed back to the homeless shelter. I had promised to help serve Christmas dinner, and keeping that promise felt important now. More important than waiting by my phone for validation from people who had so thoroughly invalidated me. For the next hour, I lost myself in the work of ladling gravy, distributing rolls, and making small talk with shelter residents. It was healing in its own way, a reminder that family could be found in unexpected places, that connection did not require blood relation. At exactly 2:73 minutes after I had sent the video, the shelter coordinator tapped me on the shoulder. "Sally, there is someone here asking for you. An older gentleman. Says he is your father." I froze, ladle in hand, gravy dripping onto the serving table. "My father? Here." The coordinator nodded. "He seems pretty emotional. I told him you were volunteering, and he said he would wait as long as it takes." Handing the ladle to another volunteer, I untied my apron with trembling fingers. "Where is he?" "In the front lobby." The walk from the serving area to the lobby felt like miles. My mind raced with possibilities. Was he angry? Had he come to confront me about the truck? To accuse me of showing off my money? To defend my mother? And Amanda? I pushed through the double doors, and there he was. My father standing awkwardly in his worn winter coat, his gray hair dusted with snowflakes, his eyes red, rimmed, and puffy. "Dad," I said tentatively. He looked up, and the expression on his face broke my heart all over again. It was not anger I saw there, it was shame, deep, profound shame. "Sally," he whispered, his voice breaking. "My Sally." Before I could respond, he crossed the lobby in 3 long strides and pulled me into a fierce hug. I could feel him trembling, or maybe I was the one trembling. Either way, we clung to each other like survivors of a shipwreck. "I had no idea," he said into my hair. "I swear to you, I had no idea." When we finally pulled apart, I saw that he was openly crying. My strong, stoic father, who had shed tears maybe 3 times in my entire life, was standing in a homeless shelter on Christmas Day, weeping unashamedly. "Let us talk somewhere private," I suggested, leading him to a small meeting room off the lobby that the coordinator had indicated we could use. Once the door closed behind us, my father seemed to collapse in on himself, sinking into a chair and burying his face in his hands. "I believed them," he said, his voice muffled. "I believed every word. God help me, I believed them." I sat across from him, giving him space while longing to comfort him. "What did they tell you, Dad?" He looked up, his blue eyes so like my own, swimming with tears. "Your mother told me you called her 2 weeks ago to say you could not make it for Christmas, that your company needed you for some emergency project, that you were sorry but your career had to come first." I shook my head slowly. "That never happened." "I know that now," he said bitterly, "but at the time it made a certain kind of sense. You had been visiting less frequently. You had canceled a few times due to work. And Caroline had that tone she gets, you know, the one where questioning her would start a fight. I did know that tone. I had been on the receiving end of it my entire life." Then yesterday, he continued, "Amanda showed me texts from you saying you were too busy even for a phone call on Christmas Eve." I was hurt. I admit it. It did not sound like you, but there were the messages right there on her phone. "Those were not from me, Dad. Amanda made them up." He nodded, wiping his eyes with his sleeve. "I know that now too. But yesterday, I believed it. I believed my own daughter had become too important for her family. And God forgive me, I felt sorry for myself. I went along with their Christmas plans even though it felt wrong without you there." My heart ached for him. "What about the children, Kyle's supposed daughters?" Dad snorted a sound of pure disgust. "That was Amanda's idea. Kyle has been trying to impress us, talking about how good he is with kids, how he wants a big family. Amanda suggested he borrow his boss's daughters for the evening to show what a great father he would be. Your mother thought it was a creative solution, whatever that means." He shook his head, bewilderment clear on his face. "I went along with it because everyone acted like it was normal. Like pretending some random children were your future grandkids was a perfectly reasonable thing to do on Christmas Eve." "When did you realize something was wrong?" "This morning. I found your gifts hidden in the guest room closet. The gifts you had mailed that Caroline told me never arrived. Then I started thinking about everything, about how none of it made sense. You have never been the person they were describing." He reached across the table and took my hands in his. "And then, I got your video. I saw the truck. I heard what you said about being told Christmas was canceled. And everything clicked into place." "What did you do?" A hint of the father I knew flashed across his face, a glimpse of steel beneath the sorrow. "I confronted them, both of them. I showed them the video. I showed them the hidden gifts. I demanded the truth. And Caroline broke down. Said she was just trying to give Amanda a chance to be the center of attention for once. Said you have had it so easy with your big career and your independence. Said it was just one Christmas and you would never even know." The casual cruelty of it stole my breath. "And Amanda?" Dad's expression hardened. "Amanda admitted everything. The fake texts. The lies about you choosing not to come. She said she was tired of living in your shadow, of hearing about your accomplishments, your generosity. The truck video was the last straw. She screamed that you were just showing off, trying to make her look bad. I never meant to make her look bad, I whispered. I just wanted to do something nice for you. I know that, Sally. I have always known what kind of person you are. He squeezed my hands. I walked out, left them all there with their fake Christmas and their fake stories, drove straight to the airport and got on the first flight to Chicago. Took a taxi here from O'Hare. How did you know I would be at this shelter? A small smile crossed his face. Jessica. She felt terrible about everything and wanted to make it right. She told me you had mentioned volunteering here when you thought Christmas with family was canceled. I made a mental note to thank Jessica properly. What happens now, Dad? He straightened in his chair, a decision visibly forming. First, we finish your volunteer shift. I may not be as young as I used to be, but I can still serve food to people in need. I smiled through my tears. This was my father, the man who had taught me what integrity looked like. And then I asked, and then he said, a spark returning to his eyes. I think you and I should take that beautiful truck for a drive. I have some things to say to your mother and sister, and I think you should be there when I say them. Are you sure? It is a 3-hour drive to Minneapolis. He grinned, the first real smile I had seen from him today. In that truck on Christmas Day with empty roads, I bet we can make it in 2.5. For the first time since seeing those devastating photos, I felt a lightness in my chest. My father knew the truth. He had chosen me. He had come for me. And now we would face the rest of the family together. The drive to Minneapolis was surprisingly peaceful. Despite the emotional turmoil of the day, sitting beside my father in his new truck, watching him explore every feature with childlike delight brought a sense of calm I had not expected. I cannot believe you did this, he said, for perhaps the 10th time, running his hand over the dashboard. This must have cost your entire savings. Some things are worth more than money, Dad, I replied, watching the snowy landscape rush past. Besides, I have been saving for years. I can start again. He glanced at me, his expression serious. I want you to know that I will pay you back, every penny. This is a gift, Dad. No strings attached. Still, he insisted I will find a way. Maybe sell the old car, pick up some extra shifts at the dealership. I let it go. His pride was important, especially now when so much had been damaged. As we drove, we talked more openly than we had in years. About Amanda's lifelong jealousy. About my mother's favoritism. About how we had both enabled it in different ways, he by avoiding conflict, me by achieving more to compensate for the lack of approval. I should have stood up for you more, he admitted as we crossed the Wisconsin-Illinois border. I told myself I was keeping the peace, but really I was just being a coward. You were doing your best, Dad. We all were. Not good enough, he said firmly. Not nearly good enough. By the time we reached the Minneapolis suburbs, we had formed a tentative plan. No shouting, no accusations. Just the truth plainly stated and clear boundaries for the future. Whatever happens, my father said as we turned onto our street, remember that I love you. That will never change. The house looked different somehow as we pulled into the driveway. Smaller, perhaps. Less intimidating. The Christmas lights that had always seemed magical now looked gaudy and excessive. My father cut the engine and took a deep breath. Ready? I nodded, though my stomach was in knots. Ready. We left our coats in the truck and walked to the front door. Instead of using his key, my father rang the doorbell, a small but significant gesture that said we were not taking anything for granted anymore. My mother opened the door, her eyes widening in shock as she took in the sight of us standing together on the porch. Behind her, I could see Amanda peering from the living room, her expression a mixture of defiance and fear. Thomas, my mother gasped. Where have you been? We have been worried sick. May we come in, Caroline? My father asked formally as if he were a visitor to his own home. Confusion flashed across my mother's face, but she stepped aside. Of course. It is your house. As we entered, I braced myself for hostility, for angry words from Amanda, for my mother's defensive posturing. Instead, an awkward silence fell as we all stood in the entryway, the remnants of Christmas dinner visible on the dining table behind them. Kyle was nowhere to be seen. Where is your boyfriend? I asked Amanda, breaking the silence. She shifted uncomfortably. He had to go. Family emergency. My father made a sound of disbelief. More lies, Amanda. Even now, her face flushed red. Fine. He left after you stormed out, said he did not sign up for family drama. And the children I asked, his fake daughters, where did they go? Back to their parents, Amanda muttered. It was just a favor, Kyle asked. No one was supposed to get hurt. But someone did get hurt, my father said quietly. Sally was hurt, I was hurt, this family was hurt. My mother stepped forward, her hands twisting together nervously. Thomas, you are being dramatic. It was one Christmas. Sally is an adult with her own life. We just wanted a special holiday with Amanda for once. A special holiday built on lies, I said finally, finding my voice. You told me Christmas was canceled. You hid my gifts. You let everyone believe I had abandoned the family when you were the ones who abandoned me. We did not abandon you, my mother protested. We just wanted different things this year. Then why not say that my father demanded? Why the elaborate deception? Why turn the entire family against Sally with false stories? My mother had no answer for that. She looked away, her lips pressed into a thin line. Amanda stepped forward, her chin raised defiantly. Everything is always about Sally. Sally the successful one. Sally the generous one. Sally who sends expensive gifts and helps with bills. Just once I wanted Christmas to be about me. It could have been, I said softly. All you had to do was ask. I would have stepped back. I would have given you your moment. You did not have to erase me. Something flickered in Amanda's eyes. Shame, perhaps, or regret. But it was quickly replaced by the defensiveness I knew so well. Where did you two disappear to anyway, she asked, changing the subject. And how did you get here, Sally? I thought your car was in Chicago. My father smiled for the first time since entering the house. We drove. In my new truck. The one Sally bought me for Christmas. What truck? My mother asked, confused. Without a word, my father led her to the front window and pulled back the curtain, revealing the silver F-150 gleaming in the driveway. That truck, he said simply. My mother's hand flew to her mouth. Thomas, we cannot accept such an expensive gift. What will people think? I do not care what people think, Caroline. For once in my life, I care about what is right. And what is right is acknowledging that our daughter, the one you all tried to erase from Christmas, spent her savings to make my dream come true. Amanda pushed past us to look out the window. So what? She bought you a truck. She is showing off again, trying to make me look bad. No, my father said firmly. She was showing love, something this household seems to have forgotten how to do without conditions or competition. He turned to face both of them, his expression more serious than I had ever seen it. Things are going to change. Starting today. For the next hour, my father laid out exactly what those changes would be. Amanda would need to find her own apartment within 3 months. My mother would attend family counseling with all of us. Holidays would be planned transparently with everyone included or no one included. And most importantly, he concluded there will be no more lies. Not about Sally, not about anything. This family has survived on half-truths and manipulation for too long. My mother wept, Amanda sulked, but neither of them argued. The evidence of their deception was too overwhelming, the consequences, too clearly displayed in my father's unwavering stance beside me. As the confrontation wound down, I felt a strange sense of peace. The fairy tale version of my family had been shattered, but perhaps something more authentic could grow in its place. I should go, I said eventually. It is getting late and I have a long drive back to Chicago. Stay, my father urged. Your old room is still there. I shook my head. Not tonight, I need some space to process everything, but I will come back. Soon. He nodded, understanding in his eyes. I will drive you to the airport. You can fly back and I will drive the truck up to get you for a proper visit next weekend. As I gathered my coat, my mother approached hesitantly. Sally, I am sorry. I never meant for things to go this far. It wasn't much of an apology, but it was a start. I know, Mom, we all have work to do. Amanda remained on the couch, arms crossed, but her posture had softened slightly. The truck really is nice. She offered the closest thing to an olive branch she could manage right now. It is, I agreed. Dad deserves it. Outside, as my father and I walked to the truck, he put his arm around my shoulders. You know what I realized today, Sally? What is that? That sometimes the best gift is not what you receive, but what you give. And today you gave me something far more valuable than this truck. What was that? He smiled, his eyes crinkling at the corners. The courage to finally stand up for what matters. For who matters. 1 year later, our family Christmas looked very different. Amanda, humbled by the events of the previous year, had moved into her own apartment and started therapy. My mother, while still prone to favoritism, had made genuine efforts to repair our relationship, and my father and I had grown closer than ever, bonded by our shared experience and the beautiful truck that symbolized both crisis and redemption. The painful Christmas that nearly destroyed our family ultimately became the catalyst for its healing. By standing in my truth and responding to betrayal with generosity rather than vengeance, I had broken a generational cycle of manipulation and conditional love. Sometimes the most powerful response to exclusion is not retaliation, but radical inclusion. Sometimes the best way to combat lies is not with more lies, but with uncomfortable truths delivered with love. And sometimes a $26,700 truck is not just a truck. It is a statement, a boundary, and ultimately a bridge back to what family should be. Have you ever had to confront a painful family betrayal? How did you handle it? Let me know in the comments below. And if this story resonated with you, please hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and share this video with someone who might need to hear that standing in your truth is always worth it, even when it hurts. Thank you for listening to my story, and remember, sometimes the family we choose is as important as the family we are born into.